It's Friday.
It's Friday! Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Of course, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I'm Anthony Totri, joined, as always, by my favorite jit. Of course, we've got Erik Ruby.
Dude, you gotta stop
We've
saying
got
that.
the Deli Man behind the mag, making all of the magic happen.
Is he younger than you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
can say that.
It's acceptable, 100%. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Sharon in here, Jacob, multiple Jacobs in here today. Love it. We got Ben in here as well. Throw up the forks up. Like I said, drop a like and make sure you're subscribed while you are in here. Rubus, I have a feeling today is going to get a little chippy with the chat.
You think so?
As long as we keep it with Arizona State fans, I think we should be good. But based off of what we're going to be talking about today, I imagine we're going to have some Wildcats trickling in throughout the day.
I don't know if we will.
You don't think so?
Maybe like one or two. The thing is, they avoid us now because when they were up, when their football program was good for a split second.
Yeah.
They just loved this show.
Yeah.
My Lord, they were in here all the time, just talking it
We
up.
loved having them in here.
And it was fun, right? And we showed up too, when we were bad.
I love Sharon. Sharon saying hi in advance to Tony, who's not even in
I've met
here
Tony in person. I've come face to face
He
with
avoided
Tony
me.
Clifton.
He avoided me.
Oh, that's what
Tony avoided me.
I don't think he should hear that because he would come right at you if you said that.
Well,
Anyways, though, I don't think many Wildcat fans are going to look at this and want to hear what we have to say.
you don't
to
think
be honest with you.
there's not going to be any
Because-
Brent Brennan defenders in here today?
Oh God, no. God, no. Why? No, here's the thing: is Williams says setting yourself up for debates. No Wildcat fan's going to come in here and debate it. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's not a
There's
debate.
no debate.
I love it. I love all the forks up that we're getting in here today. Jacob saying, yeah, Ruby is right. UA fans been real silent lately.
Ultimate front runners.
Look, man, it's funny, and we've got a lot to get into as far as the Kenny and Brent discussion goes. We'll talk a little bit about the rivalry outside of the coaches. Some updates to Mountain America Stadium that should be pretty fun for ASU fans.
Mountain America got renovated before
Yeah, I know. And then we will wrap things up with a hot or not because it is Friday. So everybody buckle up. We're going to have a good one here today. I want to get into what separates the two coaches at these major universities here in the Valley. Obviously, Kenny Dillingham at ASU, Brent Brennan at Arizona. A number of different ways that we can kind of approach this conversation. And I'm all ears for everybody in the chat. We'll get to as many comments as we possibly can because you guys are a big part as to the support, not just with us, but these programs in general, which feels like they're going in two very opposite directions.
What makes you say that?
Well, one's reigning Big 12 champions, and the
And
other
that would be
the Arizona State Sun Devils.
okay.
And
Just
the
making
other,
sure we're clear.
the other one struggled against NAU. Didn't make a bowl game.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been in a coma for the last year.
That's tough. You okay?
No.
Okay.
But I'm here now. And I the last thing I remember is the University of Arizona Wildcats were just, on top of the world.
They were. They
You
were
know,
on top of the world.
They won a bowl game.
They did.
Jed Fish was leading them on a renaissance. They had T-Mac and Noah Fafita coming back for another year. Surely in the Big 12 they succeeded.
I mean, Jed Fish left them high and dry.
No.
He did. He left them high
that
and dry.
doesn't sound like Jed Fish.
Noah Fafita took a step back. T-Mac was still T-Mac. He went
Okay, that makes
pretty
sense.
high in the draft. He was a
So
dog.
they were still good then.
No, didn't make a bowl game.
What kind of head coach wouldn't make a bowl game with
well,
Noah Fafita and Teteroa McMillan?
The same head coach that I was here years ago when Brennan was hired, and there were all of the Arizona fans, and there were a number of them that were in this chat. They were on Twitter saying, we think that Brent Brennan can be the Kenny Dillingham of the Arizona Wildcats.
Oh, so that must have worked out.
Absolutely not. And I'm sitting here now, what, a year and a half removed, maybe a little bit longer since Brennan was hired. And I'm here to tell you I told you so. I'm not going to take the humble route. I'm here to tell the Arizona fans, I was right. You were wrong. There was never, ever going to be a situation where Brent Brennan was going to be your Kenny Dillingham. And there are a number of different reasons why. Starting off with, let's just get into the age of these two, right? And you can still be an older generation coach and still be successful. You see it not just in college football, you see it across just sports in general, right? But in terms of college football, the way it is right now with NIL, with transfer portal, with immediate success at certain programs, when we talk about Kenny Dillingham, one thing that we always hear when we talk to players and whether they be transfers or recruits of like, hey, why did you choose Arizona State?
Right.
It always comes back to Kenny tells us the truth, right? He keeps it a buck with us at all times. There's no lies. It is, and we can relate to him, right? Those are the two things that I feel like we hear the most when we talk to recruits and transfers. This guy gets us because he's maybe not similar in age, but he's not like a 60, right?
Yeah.
And he's honest with us. Not to say that Brent Brennan isn't honest with his players, but in terms of like relatability, it is a little bit harder for Brent Brennan, I feel like, to relate to his players. And I think you're starting to see him almost backtrack a little bit to try and get into that way of doing things.
Maybe honesty, I think, is a correct word to talk about Kenny. I'm not going to go out here and say honesty doesn't describe Brent Brennan.
No, absolutely not. Because I don't know.
Right. And I don't know either. Here's the thing. It's Kenny feels more authentic because Brent Brennan, and this is just like an age thing, right? Like if even myself,
we're going to get called ageist.
No, but even if like myself right now, like Megan has a high school sister, and when I hear her speak, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm the oldest person I've ever met in my entire life. Like, I'm like, I feel ancient.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, obviously it's been a while, but I'm not like decades removed. With Kenny, obviously he's not as young as these kids, but he's so much closer to their age than Brent Brennan and a lot of other football coaches, to where even if Brent Brennan was able to communicate like Kenny Dillingham and hit that same level, it wouldn't come off as authentic, right? It would come off as this guy's trying to relate to us, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you want out of your coach. That's what you need out of your coach. But Kenny doesn't have to try to do that. He just walks in the room and he knows exactly how to communicate with them.
No, you're 100% right? And kind of off that same token with the communication, the relatability, the recruiting philosophy for these two coaches also feels pretty different, right? We know Kenny is an aggressive recruiter. What he's trying to do in state, getting Arizona kids to stay home, but not just in terms of like recruiting high school athletes, but also getting guys that are in the transfer portal from the Valley to come back home and play at Arizona State. This is a coach that, with NIL, with transfer portal, with the relationships that he has with high school coaches. There was a high school coach the other day that had tweeted just kind of out of the blue, I believe, that when he had gotten his job, that Kenny
first ever head coaching job ever.
Yeah, Kenny called him and immediately like tried to start to build that relationship, congratulating him, like that type of stuff. And again, not to say that Brent doesn't do those things, but we don't see Brent do those things. There aren't people coming, from out of nowhere saying, hey, this is what Dilly did. We don't see Brent Brennan on social media the way that Kenny and Kenny's staff is. And that may seem like something that's not like a wildly important thing, but in today's day and age with social media, Twitter, I mean, I'm not gonna say Facebook anymore, but Instagram, Snapchat.
You're on the book every once in a while
to just get people to show up for the show. But
big book guy.
Not even. I get those like 13 years ago posts.
You've been showing me those. They're electric.
They're not very good.
Maybe that should be a segment on a show.
No, it definitely should.
13 years ago with Anthony Totri.
But like it's something that is like refreshing, right? As two people that cover this program, so I can't even imagine how it feels for these players transfer portal or recruits to be recruited by 30, 40 schools, and then you got Kenny Dillingham and the staff doing it the way that they do.
It's got to be borderline shocking, right?
Yeah.
Because for us, like you said, we don't even just talk about this program every day for this show. We're talking about this outside of the show, right?
Yeah.
Like our social feeds are full of everything Arizona State.
That's all my social feed is.
Right. Discord, conversations, everything, right? And there's still moments where he does something and you're like, oh, wow, like that was a great move. Not that that's unexpected, but you don't really hear that often. And you have to imagine, let's say you've played college football for 2-3 years, right? And then you go to Arizona State and it's like completely different than any program that you had played at before. Not saying they were bad, but it was different.
Yeah.
That's why Julian Hugo committed here, right?
Yeah.
He said the culture was unlike anything he'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And it comes naturally. It is not like a manufactured culture of we're going to say we're going to do this because we think it's right, but we don't really believe it.
Yeah. This
is at his core exactly who he is, personified as the program, and each coach falls into that same category as well. Like Marcus Arroyo is a perfect embodiment of that. Charlie Ward's a perfect embodiment of that. It goes all the way down. Charlie Regal.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I was like, man, you blended Charlie Regal and Brian Ward there.
Could you imagine?
That'd be a scary coach.
Scary.
That'd be a very scary coach.
Scary.
Would it be Charlie Ward or Brian Regal?
Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward
sounds horrifying.
What is Charlie Ward?
They both sound like quarterbacks.
Well, Charlie Ward sounds like a warden, like somebody out of prison.
Oh, okay. Charlie Ward's coming.
Why are you a kid in a prison?
I want my Benjamin.
What about Brian Regal? What does Brian Regal do?
Brian Regal is a UFL quarterback.
He's a UFL quarterback?
Yeah.
Sandwich maker.
He's a sandwich maker. He's a deli man.
No.
Deli man and sandwich maker are very different
things. I run this joint.
Brian Regal works for you.
Brian Regal works for me.
He works in the sandwich department on the very end.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, he's a sandwich artist.
A sandwich artist.
That's what That's what Subway.
Yeah, that's what they call it. No free ads, but yes.
They're called sandwich artists?
Yes.
Yeah. Well.
But it's like me telling Picasso what to paint. Like, oh, and that. It's like, come on, they're not making the sandwiches like up themselves.
I don't know, man. I don't know where the hell you two are going with this conversation.
Brent Brennan.
You just asked
if Brent Brennan
what
was a
fake
sandwich
person did for their fake job.
You're right.
Where do you want us to go?
That's on me. I apologize for taking that conversation.
Totri
there.
Put a match on gasoline and said, why is there fire?
Yeah. No, you're right. I absolutely did that. Ben summing it up. Kenny remembers to wish you a happy birthday. Brent schedules a happy birthday text.
Wow, that's
Kenny's got emojis in it. There's a GIF with it. Brent is in just regular all caps. He's got like the zoom on his phone.
Yeah.
So it's like it looks way too big.
Maybe a voice memo.
It's like there's a space right before the period. It's like happy birthday, space, period.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. And there's a thumbs up for no reason at the end.
Happy birthday. Enjoy.
Yeah. Oh my
Kenny's
goodness.
like, heard somebody was the birthday boy.
Oh my goodness! Look, moving on.
Check your front door.
Like Kenny dresses up.
There's a mariachi band.
Yeah. No, it's Kenny.
No, it's Kenny dressed up at whatever your favorite animal is.
As a clown. Oh yeah.
As a clown?
Yeah. So like performing.
God, Kenny is a clown.
That's
the
scary.
only time that him and Brent Brennan have something in common.
That's crazy.
Let's not insult Brent Brennan.
Come on, it was just a funny joke, dude.
Oh my gosh.
That's horrible.
Look,
you're so nasty.
Another part
I am pretty nasty.
of what separates these two, I think, is the offensive identity that comes with each of these coaches. We know that Kenny, it's very creative. It's explosive football. We know what he accomplished last year at Arizona State with Marcus Arroyo calling plays as the OC, but what Kenny's done in the past as an OC at Florida State, at Oregon, obviously, his time with Memphis and Auburn, like those offenses they're astounding to watch play, especially at some programs that maybe aren't as competitive as a Florida State or an Oregon. You go back to what he did at Memphis.
It's also his offense.
Yeah.
Like it's completely his offense. What the indicators this year for U of A is that it's going to be Daigie's offense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be better than whatever that offense was at U of A last year, right? Because that offense for Brent Brennan and the Arizona Wildcats, despite having the second best or first best wide receiver in college football, was lethargic. It was kind of a mess outside of Tedero McMillan, right? There wasn't really a ground game. Your offensive line was pretty average at times, and realistically, the wide receivers outside of T-Mac, they underperformed.
Yeah.
Jacob, please no action shots in the chat. Thanks.
Dear Lord.
It was rough for U of A, and I will say, on offense and on defense, they did run into some depth issues, injury issues, whatnot.
But that falls on the head coach.
But that also, like, that happens in football too. That makes it harder to do things. I wouldn't say that injuries fall on the head coach.
No, but depth issues falls on the head coach.
He was out there just taking hammers to the knees.
No,
take that to Cardio.
What I'm saying is the depth issue, like the depth
I get
issues
it.
on the team.
I mean, we talked about it with Bobby Hurley, right?
It's your job as the head coach to go build the roster, right? So if you didn't do a good job of building a roster that goes beyond a 2 deep, then that falls on you. Yes, is there going to be a talent gap between your starters and your 3s? 100%. But as the head coach in today's day and age of transfer portal and NIL and recruiting, it is your job to ensure that if that does happen, if you do wind up in a situation where your 3s are playing, that you can at least be competitive out there, because injuries is not an excuse. Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State in a 3-9 season beat a ranked UCLA team on the road with the swinging gate, right? Like, they had to get creative. Cam Scadaboo threw a touchdown pass in that game, right? Like, you had to get creative. Injuries is not an excuse for not being a competitive football team.
No, it's not. Maybe if you don't reach your ceiling, but not being competitive is different.
And that's what Arizona was. They were not competitive last year.
And Glenn says the indicator is when Kenny had a bad team, they still played hard. Let's see if U of A plays hard even though they will suck.
Do we think that they're going to be worse than they were last year? That's going to be tough to do, right? It's going to be tough.
I mean, they lost some first-round talent.
They did, but
I've heard, listen, I will give Daggy the benefit of the doubt. I trust Damon and Kevin in their analysis of the team, and they are very high on Seth Daggy, and apparently a lot of the problems that this team felt like they had on offense last year, Daggy's identity is the opposite of, and he said that outwardly. But there's also, I think, a talent discrepancy now. You lose an offensive lineman and you lose a wide receiver. Those are the 2 most important things for your quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? And Noah Fafita already took a step back last year. And at the end of the day, it's still a Brent Brennan team. And Daggy is an OC in the Big 12 for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that they have a chance to be worse. I guess I wouldn't be shocked if they were a little better, maybe in the eye test. But as far as the record goes, I don't see much improvement.
Look, I think the ceiling for this team, as long as Brent Brennan is the head coach, is exactly what I said a year and a half ago, and it's 7-5. That's the Brent Brennan special. You pull up to the U of A
sandwich artist shop.
You pull up there. There's one thing on the menu. 2 things.
7-5.
No, there's the underperforming which is something below a bowl game, and then there's the Brent Brennan special, which is 7-5, which is exactly what he did every year at San Jose State. And 7-5 is not bad, right? You're going to a bowl game every year, like you're above average, you're above 500, but you are never going to be viewed as a competitive like powerhouse. You are never going to be playing for a championship. You are never going to be playing in meaningful games down the stretch, because that's just like history tells us that this is what Brennan's teams do. They
and it's how they play
above average.
And it's how they play.
Yes, slightly above average at times, right?
Generally conservative.
Yep.
You know, not trying to
boring
do the craziest stuff.
Boring.
But it's boring, and if you have a high level of talent relative to who you're playing, that style of football can work. It's not a bad style of football. Right, no. But if you don't have the individual talent,
is boring.
Yeah, if you don't have the individual talent to back it up at a high level, then boring becomes
bad.
Yes,
but that for me is why I look at last year's team, and it's like maybe is that the ceiling, right? Is because how many projected first round picks did we hear about preseason for U of A? Right, we heard about Jonah on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. We heard about Takario Davis. We heard about T-Mac. Well, that's what, 3 first rounders is what we were told?
That was I don't know if it was the general consensus as far as that was definitely where they were going. But the idea, I think, in the mocks was a lot of them had
at least
3 U of A, if not 2 U of A
at least
players
first
in the
or second round.
Almost all of them had Jonah going top 15 and Takario going top 20.
Yeah.
And then T-Mac obviously slotted in high.
And Takario transferred, didn't he? He's at Washington now.
Yep.
So, like, yes, Jonah is obviously in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins. You have T-Mac, but, like,
you lost all 3 of them.
You did. You lost all 3 of them. And when you had all those guys and Noah Fafita coming off a better year, You didn't even make a bowl game. So was the talent the issue, or was it the coaching? Because I think that's what you're going to see this year with Arizona.
Yes.
You're going to see a team that, in theory, probably is not as talented as they were last year. But the coaching staff looks slightly different. So if this team, plays better this year, then it's going to be credited to the coaching. If they play worse, then guess what? The coaching's the problem, and Brent is probably gone. When we talk about Arizona State, and I don't want to sit up here and be like, injuries is an excuse for why this team went 3-9, right? There were a bunch of factors that go into it, but you go back and watch those games. Arizona State was competitive in a lot of those games. We talked about it the other day on the show, going against USC, Washington.
They played really hard. And I know that's kind of a cliche, but they played really hard.
They also recruited really hard, which is something that I don't, and again, I'm not as tapped in as Damon and Kevin are with Arizona, but I can tell you that Kenny and this staff do not sleep when it comes to recruiting. I tweeted out the other day, there's over a handful of recruits that are going to be on campus with official visits over this weekend.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, get it done now. It's about to be 1:15.
And this is a top 15 recruiting class already. There are 4 stars coming to town. There are high 3 stars coming to town this weekend that could elevate this class to a top 10 class nationally, right? And we are still in May. Early signing period is not till December. They do not sleep when it comes to recruiting, not just these high school kids, but in the transfer portal, right? Getting the Clayton Smiths, getting the Cam Scadaboos, getting the Xavier Alfords.
And not just getting high pedigree guys, like an Xavier Alford, right? Who went to Texas, was a highly rated recruit coming out of college, but then doing the dirty work and finding the hidden gems in your Cam Scadaboos, your 0-star.
Your Sam Levitt's even.
Your Sam
who wasn't the greatest thing.
When Sam Levitt transferred here, nobody sat back and said, surefire starting quarterback next year, let alone one of the main engines to win a Big 12 championship.
You know the only guy that said that?
Sam Levitt.
And that's why Dilly and Marcus Arroyo loved having him there.
And I remember hearing about their lunches that they had during recruiting and how it ended up being 6 to 7 to 8 hour conversations. You don't, and maybe it's happening, but you don't hear that stuff out of U of A. Now, to Brent Brennan's credit, and I don't know if this maybe goes more to the credit of the players and the DNA that they have, good amount of retention, considering what happened to that program last year. Because as much as I always want to crap on U of A, and I will, and I don't think there was an excuse for them to be that bad last year, let's also not pretend like they weren't dealt a pretty crappy hand by Jed Fish.
They were, but they retained a good chunk of the roster.
So they retained a good chunk of the roster. You could maybe give that credit to Brent Brennan. He didn't at least fumble it, right? He inspired enough confidence that 3 first-round picks, minimum, wanted to come back.
And what'd they do with it?
I know. I'm not defending them, right?
That's not for us to defend. That's for Kevin and Damon to defend.
So what I'm saying is he might be all right, but there was nothing that has come out that is saying Brent Brennan is a secret weapon in recruiting, or Brent Brennan is relating to these kids on another level, or Brent Brennan is really turning up the heat and, bringing in a lot of talent respective to where people expected them to be and who they expected them to get after last season and where they stand as a program.
Yeah.
Because when Arizona State was in a bad position, again, they weren't getting 5 stars, but they were getting players either out of high school or in the transfer portal that most likely would not be going to a team that was that bad, a program that was in that spot, right? You have to compare those two, and Arizona State was in a better position when they were worse.
Yeah, and they're in a better position now.
Yes.
Point blank, period. Look, we're going to talk a little bit more about this rivalry on the other side of this quick break.
Woo! Tonight. I need to relax. It has been one hell of a week. 95% of our producers are on vacation, so it's been a tizzy over here at PHNX Sports. We did a boxing class earlier today. I've been running a lot, and I need to relax on a Friday night. When I get home, I'm taking Pure Edibles,
That's
baby.
fair. That's fair.
Because Pure Edibles, the best part about them is I know exactly how they're going to make me feel. I'm a control freak. I don't like when things aren't what I expect them to be.
Yeah.
And it's really bad when you dive into an edible and you think you're going to feel one way, and you end up feeling the exact opposite way. So not only does Pure Edibles list the effect like sleepy or uplifted or blissful or balanced, whatever it might be. They're also easily rippable, biteable, easy to dial in your exact dose, because that's also something that can affect how it makes you feel. And at the end of the day, Pure Edibles just wants to make you feel good. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Well, we got some big news from Sanderson Ford. Ford just announced From America for America employee pricing. So now you pay the same price as the owner of Sanderson Ford on the full lineup on new Fords, with no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense. And here's the big one: no added markups. And on top of employee pricing, get additional Ford incentives on over 1,000 vehicles during the Sanderson Ford Platinum 70th anniversary sale. Choose Sanderson Ford because they have the inventory and they're celebrating 70 years of treating you right. Now is the best time to buy a new Ford from Sanderson Ford with From America for America employee pricing. In celebration of their 70th anniversary, stop in and get a pair of tickets to an Arizona Diamondbacks game just for stopping by. No test drive required. Now, this does exclude 2025 Expedition, Super Duty, Raptor family, Mustang, and Bronco specialty vehicles. One pair of tickets per household with a valid driver's license to that July 6th game versus the Kansas City Royals while supply of 200 tickets last. Now, look, all of our partners, or the majority of our partners, it feels like they're always doing sales. They're always trying to help you guys out. And we've got a sale of our own here at PHNX in the locker. Mr. Rubus, the shirts, the hats, the hoodies. I mean, we got like
how are we still in business?
A spring cleaning clearance sale of up to 75% off.
Wow. All inventory items are 30% off is what they're saying in my ear right now.
I mean, who do you have talking to you in your ear right now?
I got Phoenix in my ear.
Wow, Phoenix is telling you.
Yeah. Wow, Brandon Bill's Phoenix hat also on sale. Huh.
Incredible.
Daniel and Gata officially licensed merchandise for only $8.96.
Oh my gosh.
Suns t-shirts, Cardinals t-shirts, Diamondbacks t-shirts, Mercury t-shirts, Rising t-shirts, ASU t-shirts. Wow. Tanks? It just keeps going.
All of the things.
Dude, Phoenix will not shut up.
Is Phoenix telling you how these people can or where they can go to get these things?
No, now he's saying things I can't repeat. Okay, no. Okay. Go PHNX.com is what Phoenix is telling me.
Okay.
GOPHNX.com for those who are unaware. Then there's a merch tab. You click the merch tab.
Boom.
At that point,
you're there.
If you have the internet, I'm sure you know what to do.
You can figure it out. Appreciate
Dude,
that.
you can't say that.
Yeah, I know. You need to hang up on Phoenix here. Robbie said, you guys are just making up all these things. U of A fans are supposedly saying positively about this team. 90%, 99% of U of A fans are apathetic to this team and coaching staff. We're not saying that the fan base is saying these things now, but I will bet my job, I'll bet my life on it. You go back to when Brent Brennan was hired, go look through some of those old shows that we had right here on the YouTube channel, and you go sift through those comments, because I guarantee you, as somebody who is sitting here talking to the U of A fans, dealing with all their crap, talking about how Brent Brennan is this, Brent Brennan is that. We got Tacario Davis. We got all of these players. They were here. They were talking their talk, and now they're not here to walk the walk. Okay? So, again, we're not making it up. You can go look for those shows and go find those things. They are there 150%. We're not going to let U of A fans get off the hook for that.
No.
Come on now.
Also, the entirety of the show, I've basically been saying, you don't hear any good things about Brent Brennan doing these certain things.
No, and again, we're not saying that those things don't happen. We're just saying we don't hear it. When you look on Twitter, when you look on Instagram, like when you look at national media outlets putting out stories, there is story after story about Kenny Dillingham, right? Doing X, Y, and Z, right? And again, I'm not saying that Brent hasn't done certain things. Kenny Dillingham, who didn't have to do this, a young coach in college football with an entire family, right? Opted to give some of his bonus that he got to maybe some of the staff that was at Arizona State that wasn't necessarily getting paid as much as Dilly and some of the assistants, right? Like, that's something that just like speaks to the character of Kenny Dillingham, who he is. And again, I'm not saying that Brent doesn't do these things like behind closed doors, but we're in an age now where having your face on these stories, having these things like out there is good for business, is good for the program, right? Keeping these things to yourself does you no good, right? I'm sorry, but being humble these days doesn't always get you where you need to be. Now, there's a time and there's a place for it, right? I'm not saying that Dilly went out there and tweeted it out that he did this, but the story ended up coming out, right? And it was good for the program. That is good publicity. So it is what it is.
Don't be humble, Anthony Totri.
I didn't say
message
that.
for you.
I didn't say
in
that.
2025.
I didn't say that. Come on now. Don't.
Humility sucks. No.
Depends who you ask. Come on, man.
Why do you say that with a smile on your face?
I want to talk about the rivalry in general now, right? Because we've obviously talked about the coaches, and
I was ready to rip on
you want to get more
for another 30 minutes, honestly.
Look, we go back and forth. It doesn't matter. But Arizona State really took it to the Wildcats last year, right?
I was in a coma. You got to remind me what happened.
It was a dog walk from start to finish. There's actually this great video that came out of Dilly's like halftime speech where he said no pity for the beep kid. Like, you can kind of take it from there.
For the dang kitty.
Yeah, exactly. And Arizona State dominated that game. I believe, let me go ahead and just for accuracy's sake.
Yes, please. I need accurate information because I missed
I want to get the final score for you. Oh, God. It pulled up the Arizona State basketball program.
Ooh,
get that off my.
We're not looking at that rivalry game. I'll tell you that.
We don't need that. We don't need that anywhere in here.
That I also luckily don't remember.
It was 49-7. Arizona State won that game. Jacob in the chat saying the difference: 42 points and Derek Eusebio. Yeah, it was a cakewalk for Arizona State. They stepped on the gas. They didn't let off. And it was embarrassing for the Wildcats in Tucson.
Oh, so it was in Tucson.
It was in Tucson.
Oh, surely nobody planted
anything. It was a spanking, pretty much from start to finish.
So much that they knew they couldn't get mad about the game, so they got mad about a former Wildcat planting a pitchfork.
Yeah. It was definitely some fun stuff. But I bring that up now because obviously these two teams play every single year. It's part of the rivalry. It's one of the oldest rivalries in college sports, but
it's the oldest.
It's the oldest rivalry in college sports. I don't think that Arizona State will lose as long as Dilly's here.
If we expect Dilly to be around for decades, which I think a lot of people
Let's say he's here for 15 years, which I feel like is as long as Arizona State is like an 8-win team pretty regularly, He's
getting automatic extensions every time they win 6 games. He'll be fine.
I don't see him going anywhere, right? He's called this his dream job. He lives in the Valley. Like, he's got family here. Like, he went to ASU, all of this stuff.
I think this is his last coaching job that he'll ever have.
Really?
As a head coach.
As a head coach. Okay. Look, let's say he's here 15 years. Now, I know there are one-off situations where, hey, maybe you're starting quarterback, like at a certain point, starting positions, stuff happens in these games, right? We talked about a 3-9 season where injuries happened. I just don't see, as long as Brennan is there and Dilly is here.
But there's no way that Brennan is here the amount of time that Dilly is here.
No.
I'm not willing to say they will never lose again. I'm willing to say it will be in significant favor of Arizona State in every game that they win and for a majority of the games that they play.
I think as long as Dilly is a better coach than whoever's on the opposite side,
better
ASU is going to have better players.
I get what you're saying, but to say they will never lose again.
I'm not saying never. I'm just saying in the next 15 years.
That's
15-0?
15 years.
I mean, this last one wasn't even close. Do you expect this year to be close?
All I'm saying is they might go 1-14. Maybe one year they have a good year when Jed Fish returns.
Oh my God! So they win 96%.
Okay, but that's not what you're saying.
I said at the top.
Not, bro. You literally said they would win every single game.
I said off the top. I acknowledge that there are one-off situations where injuries happen, where whatever. But as long as we're talking about these two teams, let's say and I get this is not a real circumstance. But these two teams go at each other 100% strength on each side at the end of the year every time. Are we not picking Dilly and the Devils to come out of that 10 times out of 10?
I am.
You are. Are you? Yeah? Deli man with just the casual head nod on that side.
Locked in Deli man.
I don't see it. I do not see it. B saying the days of Arizona picking on lowly ASU rosters are gone. They are. It's just the truth. It's
Andrew says those days lasted one season.
They did. They last. But there were obviously teams in the Todd Graham era Or actually, did Todd Graham go undefeated except 1 year?
I think he definitely lost his last year.
I think he lost. No, his last year, I think they won because there was a whole thing that came out that he was going to get fired regardless of the result.
He was 4-2 versus Arizona. I'm pretty sure he lost his.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
Their 2016, their 2017 season.
Because there was an article that had come out like an hour before the game saying that Todd would have got fired. Todd was going to get fired regardless of the result. And I think they won that game.
They did win 42-30.
And he still got fired. Like
that's when they played in the Sun Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at that game.
Wasn't that back-to-back? That was the first year of a back-to-back Sun Bowl run, right?
No, I think they did Sun Bowl and then the Vegas Bowl was the first year.
I thought the Vegas Bowl was the second year under Herm. And the Sun Bowl was the first year.
I don't know. Daily Man.
It was God, man. I'm just
you're ripping.
No, I suck. I got it wrong. It was Sun Bowl, Vegas Bowl, Sun Bowl.
I mean, just like come on now. Just listen to me,
awesome,
Rubis. Just listen to me. I gotta go that way. Can't go straight knuckles.
Oh, dude. Can we talk about that for a second?
On the hot or not? We can talk about it on the hot or not.
You know who did the post-game show for the Vegas Bowl on PHNX Sun Devils?
You?
Nope.
Wasn't you?
Johnny Venerable. I was on vacation.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Johnny Venerable.
There's an ASU post-game show of
Oh,
Johnny, and he really only knows about Jaden Daniels. It's awesome.
Wow. How long was that post-game show?
I don't know.
Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. I want to put a poll in the chat.
Okay.
I don't know how to phrase this. Yes.
Scone poll.
We're not doing a scone poll. Shout out David Rodish. Do we think that Arizona State loses to Arizona at any point while Dilly is here? That is incredible stuff. There is Derek on that post-game show.
It's Derek, Johnny, and a comment from Jacob.
That is unbelievable stuff. And everybody looks wildly different except Derek.
Johnny looks the same.
Johnny's got a mustache.
Johnny looks the same.
Johnny's got a mustache, man. Come on. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you vote in the poll, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Still going to be talking about this Arizona State rivalry when we get through with our final break. Look, I'm here to tell you about Desert Financial Credit Union. Your family's been using Desert Financial Credit Union since the Stone Ages, it feels like.
The beginning.
And what does your family always say about Desert Financial Credit Union?
They love them.
They love them. I mean,
family.
How could you not, right? Because for more than 84 years, DFCU, they've not only been Arizona's largest, but also the most trusted local credit union. Of course, we know they're dedicated to creating those exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing those financial solutions that make lives better. But for me, what sets Desert Financial Credit Union apart from everybody else is the fact that you can walk in and maybe you have a need with checkings and your savings accounts. Maybe you have questions about mortgages, maybe loans, credit cards, investment options, something that I didn't mention. Well, guess what? Desert Financial Credit Union, they have got somebody to help you with literally all of those things: checking, savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options. Pretty much if it has to do with finances and money, Desert Financial Credit Union, they're going to take care of you. And when you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
If you need flooring, who are you going to call?
Empire Today.
Empire Today. Listen, Empire Today is not like these other big box stores. That would be a ridiculous thing to say about them. They're not going to leave you high and dry, lost and confused in a big warehouse, and you don't even know what the right choice is for your flooring, and they certainly aren't going to make you wait 6 to 8 months to install it. In fact, they're not even going to make you leave your home. You can schedule a free in-home estimate with Empire Today and get actual flooring experts, not part-timers who don't care, flooring sickos, to come to your home, give you clear, upfront, all-inclusive pricing, plus you can start installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better off at home. PHNX listeners can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. That's right, a $350 discount with code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/PHNX for details.
Look, there are a lot of you that are talking about, oh, it's the rivalry. Oh, it's this. And things happen, which I hear, right? But in context, look at Arizona basketball versus Arizona State basketball. How often does How often do the Sun Devils beat the Wildcats in men's basketball?
But it still happens.
On buzzer beaters, right? Like there's your one-off, right? That's the situation that we're talking about.
I don't want to talk about basketball.
But again, in context of the rivalry, Arizona dominates Arizona State when it comes to men's basketball.
No more.
So why can't Dilly be that in football? Why can't that happen? Why can't Arizona State football with the better coach, with the better players? If you're asking me to
bet on it, I'm not going to bet on it.
I'm not asking you to bet on it.
You asked me to put my
No, I'm not asking you to do that, man. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, things happen, right? The better coach usually wins. The better team usually wins. I get there are circumstances where buzzer beaters happens. Hail Marys happen. Injuries happen. That's fine. But if these two teams go onto the grass at the end of the year, every single year, I'm taking Dilly. Why? He's a better coach than anybody that has ever walked through the gates for the Arizona Wildcats. And I got a good feeling that as long as he's here, there is not going to be a coach that's going to be able to match what Dilly does. Do you agree that Kenny Dillingham is a top 10 coach nationally in college football?
Yes.
Do you think Arizona in the next 20 years has what it takes to get a top 10 coach in college football?
No.
I'm taking the dude
I voted
that's top
no
10.
I voted no on the poll.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Did it feel like I bullied you into that?
Yes.
Because it felt like it for me, and I'm sorry. I didn't want to feel like I was bullying you.
You
but
did. You got off.
I didn't like your answer. I didn't like your
You were
answer.
high on your own supply.
Yeah.
Final results of the poll: 54% say no.
That Dilly won't lose.
56% say no. Yeah.
That he won't lose.
And what did you say?
I think it's crazy to say that he won't.
Okay.
I agree with that, but I still voted no.
I appreciate that. But you see where I'm coming from with the Lloyd and Bobby situation?
I go into every game saying they are going to win. But there's percentages that go into it. Yes, they have a 95% chance of winning this game, and a 95% chance of winning next game, and a 95% chance of winning the game 3 years from now. But you put all those together, the percentage goes down, and they win all three. Like things happen in college.
That's
football.
what I said.
I'm putting on my futures for 2030 ASU to beat U of A.
I said things happen. I prefaced it with all. We do have a couple of super chats that we can go ahead and get to appreciate. Joshua Hutchins with the $4.99 super chat saying ASU will be the new team in the 20s. There will be 10-win seasons, but some seasons get 8 or 9 wins. But this will remind me when Clemson got good. Hashtag ASU. Right? Dilly had said it. Right? Like there are programs that do this every couple of decades. You look at Clemson. You look at Oregon. We talked about it yesterday. Right? Like a big thing for this year, based off of what history told us about Clemson and Oregon, is that they had a great season and there wasn't a drop-off, right? It was almost even better than the year prior. So if Arizona State is going to do that, Josh, then I think this year they have to go higher than what the expectation is. And the expectation by the sports books is 8 wins. You go win 10 wins again, you win the Big 12 again, you show up to the Big 12 championship again, then you're definitely knocking on that door of, hey, we are the new sheriff in the Big 12.
It's why this season is so important for so many reasons. Eddie Lozano, San Antonio Real Estate, with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Eddie Lozano, San Antonio Real Estate. Says, hi, guys. Very glad both of your schools are in the Big 12. Both teams have made great inroads into Texas AZ with new offensive coordinator Coach Daggy and Coach Dillingham. With playing in Texas, good luck to both schools.
We
will take half of that comment.
Eddie, what team are you a fan of? Because if you're looking for a program, no better program than the Arizona State Sun Devils, right? But I imagine you're in Texas, so
so TCU, Texas Tech, Houston.
There's maybe
Iowa State,
UTSA fan,
maybe
right? San Antonio. What are they? The Roadrunners?
What about the Mean Green?
The Mean
North Texas.
Yeah, there you go. The Mean Green.
Huge North Texas guy, Eddie Lozano,
goodness.
San Antonio Real Estate.
Look, make sure you hit that like button. You hit the subscribe button. I want to talk about something really, really cool coming to Mountain America Stadium this season. And Shane and I actually got like a little bit of a glimpse. And if you were at the spring game for Arizona State, then you kind of saw it at Mountain America Stadium. But for the first time in history, Arizona State football fans are going to get experience watching games at Mountain America Stadium just a tad differently with some premium field level seating this year in 2025. Again, this team trying to repeat as Big 12 champions. They didn't lose at home last season for the first time in a very, very long time. So the new seating immediately adjacent to the Pat Tillman statue, obviously right where the team comes to the field and where they leave the field. ASU is offering 12 four-person seating boxes under a shade, covering with access to the air-conditioned student-athlete facility for all-inclusive food and beverage buffet items. Now, these seats are not going to be cheap by any means. The new field level lodge boxes, according to Sun Devil source, are going to cost about $5,000 per seat.
Loge.
Loge. What'd I say? Lodge?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Loge boxes cost $5,000 per. There's
the hell is a loge?
Yeah, apparently what this is. $5,000 per
That's
seat.
a fake word.
And they're sold as sets of 4. That prices the offering in between the Legends Club and the Coaches Club. Some of the 4-person boxes have already been sold. Of course, ASU targeting people who are on the waiting list for other premium seating. Again, this is all credit to Son of a Source, who reported this earlier today. So very, very interested to see how these sell out. But definitely, I like Graham Rossini and ASU kind of experimenting a little bit with this type of seating.
Yeah. This same Mike says, that sounds way too fancy for what I do at ASU games.
That's fair.
You know what my first thought was? They might need some promotion. Maybe they should send PHNX Sun Devils to a loge.
A loge?
To a loge.
We probably have to know what it is first.
Oh, it's a private box or enclosure in a theater.
Yeah, they're it's very broad. They had loge boxes at Mullet as well.
Got you.
Eddie Lozano, San Antonio Real Estate with a $5 super chat.
We got one from Joshua Hutchins first.
Sorry, Josh.
We're going back to back with these two.
Back to back.
ASU have a 2 running back system this year.
Probably a 3 running back system, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Kyson Brown, Kanye Udo, and then Raleek Brown with maybe some sprinkle of Jason Brown in there.
A little sprinkle of Jason Brown.
Yeah, it'll definitely be, you'll see more running backs than just one, like you saw last year.
And then Eddie Lozano, San Antonio Real Estate, the $5 super chat. I am a Big 12 fan, used to be a Texas fan, but no more. How did you feel about the Peach Bowl, brother?
Was it targeting, Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie, was it targeting?
This ain't Mike saying, I volunteer as tribute to be going to
but I might ruin it for the channel.
Oh, my goodness.
This ain't Mike is quickly becoming at the top of my list of, I think I might need to figure out who this person is in real life because he is wild.
He's a good dude. But
at least I think we should. I don't know in real life. Over. Yeah, I say I don't know you, man, but you sound like a good time.
Oh man,
I think that would be great for both parties.
Yeah,
right. I think that if Arizona State were wanting to,
you're still trying to
send this, clip it and send it to Graham. Send it to Doug. If they don't sell a couple tickets, right?
Yeah.
All you gotta do is you send the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Right. The camera. And we will basically do free promo for them. And behind the scenes,
I don't know if it's free promo though. I don't know if it's considered free promo. If they haven't sold
the tickets, then it would be, right? If they're not giving up the sales on the tickets,
I think they're gonna sell these out.
I know,
pretty quickly.
but like, still, just
let
me try
throwing it out there.
Graham,
you don't have an extra $5,000 laying around?
Brother, do you?
No, I don't.
Can I hold a $5?
No, you can't. I won't let you.
If you let me hold enough $5 bills, I'd be able to pay for it.
Enough super chats, and maybe we can. We can show up to that box.
$5,000 super chat, but instead of raising it for charity, we raise it to send us to a loge.
What game this year?
No.
And for me, this is kind of a trick question. NAU. Immediately where you're going.
Eddie says yes.
What game?
Oh, Eddie, no.
Would you want to be sitting in these seats?
Texas Tech would be fun.
You're saying NAU.
You think it'd be the most fun because they would just whoop up on them?
If I'm sitting in those seats, I want to just relax.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to pace. There's probably not a lot of room to pace. Actually, there probably is a lot of room to pace. Yeah, I guess that. No, I'm still going.
NAU. Yeah. What are you going with?
Just vibes.
It's kind of a trick question for me.
Texas Tech.
It's going to be a great game.
There might be a game day game. The crowd's going to be electric.
I'm going to say when Arizona State hosts South Carolina in the college football playoff this year, that those seats would be pretty nice to have. Why?
You're annoying.
Why?
Because you're annoying.
Because you hate Lenora Sellers?
No, you're annoying.
Eddie is an honorary Sun Devil.
Oh, man. JJ saying, who you guys replacing Simmons with, Breedlove or Warren? Right now, it looks like it's going to be Montana Warren, but spring football is obviously over. We'll see when fall camp rolls around how that competition continues to play out.
Texas State, sneaky fun game. They'll be a little bit better than NAU, so a little bit more competition.
You think they'll be better than NAU this year?
Yes, I do believe Texas State will be better than NAU this year. Maybe they should play each other, and we just watch and get the win either way.
Yeah.
But works. I think that would be a fun game to go to. That would be a relaxing game, a little more hype to it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Look, anything else before? I hate him sometimes.
Damn, man. You good, man? You good?
Yeah, I got things to do. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got things to do? Yeah. Make sandwiches and stuff?
Yeah.
Hot or not? My time.
Yeah. It is Friday. So we will do a little bit of a hot or not. We appreciate everybody hopping in today's chat. If you have any other comments on the rivalry, Brent Brennan, Kenny Dillingham, the seating, all of the things, throw it in the chat and we'll get to it if we can. But Deli Man, it is time for some hot or not.
We won't be able to get to it, so don't even put it in there. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys.
Jeez, he's on one
joking.
Today.
I'm joking. We need to do hot or not. Let me take a video of you saying you'd kill the president. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
His movie comes out this week. Or yesterday, right?
What's today, Friday?
Tim Robinson's movie? Didn't it come out yesterday?
I think it came out yesterday. Can I be honest with you guys?
What's up, man?
I don't think he's that great of an actor.
Okay, then you have no idea what you're watching if you're calling him an actor.
Yeah.
What would you consider him?
He's a comedian.
Comedian who is in what, a TV show on Netflix, right?
He's a pretty.
Is that not acting?
He's a pretty unbelievable actor. If you understand what the okay, we're moving on.
Totri,
hot or not? Anthony Totri, not hot. Good night. Show's over.
Good night. And roll end screen. Yeah. We're done.
Sorry,
okay,
Jacob.
First one, hot or not? Replay reviews, ruining the flow versus getting it right.
There's a fine line.
Are you saying, what are you saying?
I'm saying that I like getting things right, but when it's like a fourth quarter in the NBA playoffs and there's like 4 replay reviews, it gets pretty annoying. I'm like, damn, just play ball.
I mean, it gets annoying, but don't you want to like?
Yeah,
you
I'm
want
gonna
it right.
say hot, but sometimes it's annoying.
It's annoying. Yeah. I would agree. It's hot, but sometimes you got to burn your hands on the stove to get what you want. You know?
No, I don't. Please elaborate.
It's hot, but I would agree with you. There are certain points where it does feel like annoying. It's wasting time. It's doing X, Y, and Z, but you want it 100% to get right. Like, come on now. Andrew saying it's a very tough question. Replay review. Jacob saying hot. Love a good slow-mo. Sharon saying hot. I would be so mad if they didn't review it. Yeah, you got to get it right. What are you saying, Deli Man? You big replay review guy?
Yeah, it's hot to a certain extent. What I really hate is when, in the NBA specifically, when a play that happens like 20 times a game, when it's slapped out of somebody's hand, and it's almost always, if you look at it in super slow motion, got to be off the person who was handling the ball. But then they review it only if it's under 2 minutes, and then they always overturn it, and it's just such an inconsistent call. It's very, very obnoxious. And the slowing of the game, I think there's, there are ebbs and flows, and you can kind of say what you want with that, but at the core of what's happening, you need to get things right. Okay, next hot or not topic: Marvel movies.
Ooh,
not hot.
Not hot.
No,
you're not a big superhero guy.
No. I definitely wouldn't say that.
Not
I don't
hot
think you are though.
anymore.
I am. I totally.
You are
am.
not a superhero guy.
What do I love, Totri?
You love games and sweet treats.
Yes.
None of that
He has such a big smile on his face when you said that.
I've worked with Shane for a long time. I know what Shane likes.
Those are the two things. But I also love shenanigans. And
you do love shenanigans, but
superheroes are just shenanigans.
They're not.
Yes,
I would argue they're the opposite of shenanigans.
They used to be hot.
They used to be hot.
And they don't. I have no interest in Marvel movies anymore. Marvel TV shows.
Is it because you're an old head now? You're
no,
like
it just felt like it ran its course. It was so comprehensive, and then Endgame literally should have been the Endgame. I'm good,
but we understand that it's a money making business.
That doesn't mean I have to like it.
But I would say
so is the movie industry in general. So is everything.
Okay. What are you both saying?
Not hot.
Not hot. Wow, incredible.
I've always been super anti.
Are you anti-superheroes or just anti-Marvel?
No, Marvel.
Just Marvel.
Because
so you like a comic guy?
It's so soulless. Like,
it is soulless.
No, there are Marvel movies that don't feel that way.
The old Marvel movies.
The new Marvel movies are
cheeks.
I've heard Thunderbolts is fine, but they're pieces of crap usually.
Yeah.
Old Head Rubus is a new nickname from Bees. This ain't Mike saying Endgame peaked. B saying lukewarm. Jacob saying not hot. Endgame was the last good superhero movie. I would say for me that like before I explored different superhero like genre, not even genres, just mediums, I guess. Like I would have said Marvel is hot, but like what they do on what's the Amazon Prime show I'm losing? Like
Invincible.
Oh,
Invincible. I love
Invincible. The boys
Invincible.
are fantastic.
Invincible and the boys are like peak superhero by far. Anything that like those two things have done, I feel like is way better quality than Marvel movies. But that's just me.
Just pumping those out.
It's just
they've also gotten like Marvel movies have objectively gotten visually worse and like usually worse made. Yeah. Again, I haven't seen Thunderbolts, so but Erik, Thunderbolts is good. Like, I don't care.
Jeez, is that what chat sounds like to you?
Yeah,
no, that's what Thunderbolts defenders sound like to me.
But shocker, you put Florence Pugh in a movie and it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Bonk. This ain't Mike saying Invincible is goated. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a lot of fun. If you're not somebody that's like an animated type of like, definitely give it a chance. Give it a couple. I absolutely loved it. The Boys is also like top tier stuff by far. Those two things are tiers above Marvel that they don't even touch. And the Marvel shows, I've seen like an episode of each one. I feel like they suck. That's just me. Like they tried to go down the TV show route.
I just haven't had any interest in it, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not that old. It's not like
that's something an old person would say.
That's true. I am spiritually old.
Final hot or not topic. Totri's got him out right now. His dogs are out.
My dogs are not out.
Well, you have no shoes on.
I have socks on though.
Yes.
It's the second time that you've been.
And so speaking of socks,
out there,
sleeping in socks, hot or not?
Sleeping in socks.
Yeah.
Wow.
If it's really, really cold,
no,
you don't know
like
what cold
camping.
is, Rubus.
Not even that.
The hell does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
He's lived in Arizona.
You don't know what cold is.
He's lived in Arizona his whole life.
I've never been anywhere else in my life.
Where's the coldest place you've been?
I've been to Colorado in the winter. I've been to Vancouver.
When I slept on the bus during like the deep freeze in Texas, we had to travel south because the tanks were gonna freeze and break.
That's crazy.
It was horrible, and we needed to like heat up the bottom of the bus. So it was horrible. It was the worst, and I didn't sleep in socks.
You didn't sleep in socks?
No,
you cannot like? Can you not do it? Is it uncomfy to you?
It feels gross.
It feels gross, even though you wear socks at all times.
Yes,
except when you sleep.
And shower.
They definitely have to be. They have to be clean socks for sure.
Right.
They can't be like the socks that you wore throughout the day.
Guys, my feet are not out. Okay, I wore slides, and the slides are currently not on.
Dogs on camera.
These are my socks.
Whoa. For everybody on audio, Totri's toes are out.
No, they're not out.
He's wiggling them around. Oh, man.
So you're saying not hot.
That was really loud clapping.
You
for somebody who's worried about the audio.
You're saying not hot.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances.
No circumstance. Because when you're like...
sleeping outside in the snow.
Yeah, so if you're survival camping and you're sleeping in a tent, in a sleeping bag, you're not supposed to wear layers.
Really?
Yes, because your internal body temperature or your body temperature regulates. I don't know science. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a thing. So no, not hot.
Okay, what are you going with?
Not hot.
Grandpa Rubus.
I'm going not hot, but I think it's more acceptable than what Shane thinks.
I think you both are lunatics. I mean, there are certain places where, like, I get it. Like, you shouldn't wear socks in the state of Arizona going to sleep. It should be a crime. You should be thrown in jail. Key gone.
The only time I understand it is if you like are in a house where it physically hurts to get up and touch the floor because it's so cold. That or just keep socks by the side of your bed, or have slippers. Actually, no, have slippers. Who cares?
If you're watching on TV, the party always continues over on GoPHNX.com.
I'm gonna say. It's lukewarm. It's hot at times. I needed it when I was in Indiana. I couldn't get warm by any means.
That's fine. Socks. If you're cold, it's fine.
Yeah, I was cold.
Okay.
I mean, geez, lose the attitude.
Shout out to Jabs Boxing and Chandler. We punched bags this morning.
We did punch bags. Unfortunately, we didn't get to punch each other or Max. But it was one hell of a workout, one hell of a time.
My knuckles are messed up.
Yeah, our knuckles are a little bruised.
It's weird they just had us punch a wall over and over again.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It was awesome. Very, very, very
highly
fun.
recommend you go check it out.
back.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button on your way out. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. But this is not it for the week. We got a couple trendings coming out this week. We got one that's going to hit your feed sometime Saturday morning. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We're talking, of course, America's team, the Arizona State Sun Devils, on top of the fact that we'll have a bunch of other YouTube comment from now until the start of next week. So definitely make sure you're subscribed. If you enjoyed today's content, give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me. Just have my dogs out as always. At Anthony_Totri. You can follow Grandpa here at Erik Ruby. That's Erik with a K. You can follow the sandwich artist himself, the deli man, at Shane Deef.
Just being reasonable as always.
And we'll see you guys Monday. But in the meantime, go Devils. And peace.
We all silly like the mayor.